till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers.
What up, and welcome back to Pregaming here at Sports Money, Monday through Friday. You know the deal. This is the best place to get all that last-minute line movement, information, injury analysis, although those don't tend to matter that much to us. You name it, we're going to talk about it. We'll talk about some weather. We'll talk about some matchups. We'll talk about some rivalries. We'll talk about some college basketball. We'll talk about some NHL, some NBA. What am I forgetting? College hoops. Let's go. It's going to be a glorious evening. I think I'm missing a slide. 1, 2, 3. Where's this one? Well, I guess we're going to start off and show you guys a quick parlay to get this show on the road. I don't know what happened. I don't know where it went. What is going on here? What is going on? Where's number 1? There's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5, there's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Must have been user error. Welcome into the show, you guys. Hope you're ready for a big evening. Coming off a big evening, we had ourselves, oh, look at this. This new screen change for StreamYard puts things in a portrait view automatically. And so when we stream over to Instagram, you get a real quick zoom in on this face. You're lucky. It doesn't get out in public that often because it's sports season and we have all things brewing here. This is a favorite day of the week. We're turning towards the weekend, you guys. Get ready. It's hump day. But we got first strike that fires off tonight. We resume live stream. Sean Fox will be popping off right after this show. I'm going to try to be done by 7. I know I said that before. We got done last night at 7:05. I think it was worth it because we crushed the card last night. And we hit the king of the court again with the king of the court. $26 bonus bet. Hey, we can do. I'll take a free $26 bonus bet and I'll run it with 5-leg parlay. Why the hell not? So I can pick up $400 or $500. That's the way we're going to do it here tonight, you guys. Looking forward to the show. And then, of course, after we're done, we'll have, I mentioned First Strike. You'll have VB MMA picks and Ramon Scott. That's going to be a collective. I think the guest this week was Liam. Fight picks, fights, whatever. He doesn't respond to messages. I'll tell you that. But shout out for the show that he's a part of there. 6 fights should be broken down for you guys on the big pay-per-view card this weekend. It starts at 6 p.m. So you got live shows tonight. We're back live tomorrow for Thursday Night Football. The New York Jets, aka the New Jersey Jets, will take on the New England Patriots. An AFC East battle will be live. Friday, we'll have the shows as normal. Saturday, we will launch in. Ramon Scott will kick us off at 9 a.m. with the morning steam. 6 p.m., we'll start the evening card. We'll have college football, college basketball, NHL, NBA. We'll be having, of course, UFC is the main dish. We'll finish it off with our NFL parlay show, the prop segment that everybody enjoys as we get ready for Sunday. And then Sunday, we will go live. Ramon Scott will pop at 9 a.m. Now, our friend Shark will be out of town this weekend. He's going to a game, going to the Jacksonville game. Should have a good time doing it. So he and I will be recording Friday. And we'll have a companion. We'll have that live companion show on Sunday. So I'll be in the chat watching the show with you guys, answering questions. You want to talk fantasy football? I'll pull up my fantasy football index. We can look at those plays. We can look at, well, I'll be very interactive in the chat on Sunday as we get ready to launch into an NFL football Sunday. Sunday night, we'll have live stream primetime game. Monday, back and at it with another primetime game. It's going to be fun, you guys. Wednesday is the turning point to the weekend. Also, one of the busiest days of the week for me because it's graphics day. Got to build the graphics for the NFL show, especially now that it's earlier. Graphics will have to come before the UFC show now. Then the UFC graphics will be built out there. I think you guys are enjoying the new layout for the show designs, despite how much time and effort it takes me to do it. So that's what it's all about. We also kicked off a new graphic out there, redesigned the thumbnails for the morning steam show and the pre-gaming show. So I hope you enjoyed those. Just trying to get some more retention with the YouTube algorithms. I told you they changed the algorithms. I need your guys' help. You got to smash that thumbs up button for us to get it done. And why wouldn't you, just for the courtesy of being a good steward of gambling here? I mean, look, you guys are all stewards and custodians of this sports money community. It's our job to grow it, bring in new cappers. And that gives us new angles, new bets, new ways to attack the board and make more money. Attack the board we did last night. We were 8-3 on the card. We start off every show with a quick segment that breaks down the previous day, win or lose. I always think about this. We still booze, but I believe that's a college football women's or college volleyball women's thing for, is it Iowa State or Idaho? Can't be Idaho. I don't know. Anyways, win or lose. We do kick off with a transparency recap out there every single show, not hiding from the results, here on camera with you guys every Monday through Friday, plus Saturday, plus Sunday, 7 days a week. Who knew? It's going to be a 7-day-a-week process. But after we go through the recap, we will talk about your plays in the chat. We will get into my plays, and we will get this thing done ideally by 7 p.m. so you guys can fire away live betting tonight. You've got three Maction games tonight. You got a ton of NBA. You got a bunch of NHL. I think there's 4 or 5 games on the card for the NHL and a ton of college basketball. So it's getting ready, you guys. It's sports season. It's money-making season. Money-making we did last night. Let's see. We went 1, 2, and 1, 3 and 1 in the NHL. Yes. 3 and 1. We won the Kings game, minus 118. They busted up Montreal. Good road team, them LA Kings. Gave you guys that last-minute add-on, the Washington Capitals. I was starting to break down the game for the parlay, I believe, and added the Washington Capitals in there. That was a plus 135. They busted up the Carolina Hurricanes. I thought that was contrarian. We also learned I can't spell contrarian on the fly anyways. If I write it down, I'll probably still screw it up, but I got a better chance of getting it right if I write it down. So we cashed that plus 135. No sweat. They scored, boom, right off the gate. And then all that was left for us to do is watch them ride it out. And ride it out they did. I think it got to 2-1. Maybe it was 3-1. And then they punched in a fourth goal, and it was game over, 4-1, plus 135. We lost our parlay. The over cashed in that Boston game, but Toronto struggling on the road as of late. We'll talk about another team that's struggling on the road tonight. And then the big bomber, the big bucks, Big Bank Hank was in town with the San Jose Sharks at plus 175. It was a 2-1 finish against the Minnesota Wild. Capped that thing down like a champion. I mean, plus 175. Really? And Celebrini does it again. Way to get that card in the NHL. That was a really solid run for us in the NHL. Damn, it's that Toronto Maple Leafs. And then they got it to like 4-3, I think it was at one point. And I was like, man, maybe we'll get there for that plus 183. We didn't. They lost. So 3-1 in the NHL. College hoops, let's see, we went 1-1, 2-1, 3-1 in college hoops as well. We cashed the under 142.5 in that Davidson Charlotte game. What did I tell you guys about the margin? This thing went under. It was 117 on a 142.5. We nuked that thing by 25 points. We did not get the FAMU game. They got nuked by 37 points. We were getting 23. So we took that out. But we did cash Stephen fucking Austin. Stephen fucking Austin came through for us out there. Yeah, wrong team favorite. Plus 3.5. If they're going to continue to disrespect Stephen fucking Austin, we're going to continue to make money on it. They won that game 81-69. So we cashed that. They were up double digits, like right off the hop, and they just never looked back. Those are my favorites. Just easy JPZ, my guy. And then shout out to JPZ for liking and reposting. Shout out to Jerry Davis for liking and reposting the Twitter information. That helps us a ton, you guys. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for just taking a second to like and repost on Twitter. It means a lot that I saw you guys doing that today. And thank you. Of course, a bunch of you guys do it on a regular. I just saw those recently. And then last but not least, hey, it was a little sweaty. Virginia almost puts up 100 points, but it was 91-53. That home Virginia angle. 19-1 to the under when the total is over 130. How about that? And we're going to continue to ride that out. Guess what? We won't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. Ain't going to stop that thing for nothing. We get to the NBA. Let's see. Actually, I guess I'll talk about the Ohio game. That's kind of a bust. Western Michigan gets the early lead, and they never look back. Ohio fought, but 17-13 was the final. That was an under festival if there ever was. We'll talk a little bit about how that game relates to tonight's games in the MAC. NBA-wise, we cashed the 76ers. Now, here's the difference between the free plays that I give out here to you guys on a regular basis and then the winnable plays. I told you, those are where you'll find some best bets, some of my favorite action, some unique alternatives that I want to get paid with. Gave out the Sixers to win by 1-10 margin of victory. That was plus 195. They won by 2. We cashed a plus 105 here, but it was almost a full unit extra over there on Winnable. And again, for a really low price, you can go over there and get that text alerts. We did cash the parlay, the first half Denver, easy cash, the OKC first half, easy cash. That was a plus 116. And that's it. That's an 8-3 day. We cashed over 6 units of profit here on the Pregaming show with Sports Money Network. So thank you guys for checking it out. I mentioned Winnable, and I'll mention it again. Super inexpensive way to get best bets. You don't want to miss afternoon plays. You don't want to miss weekend action that's out there. Of course, silver and gold members, I include you guys through the week here for an extra way to say thank you for supporting the Sports Money Network. And then on the weekend, I certainly support the gold members with action here on the post tab. So exclusive opportunities to get best bets. Hey, they're just opportunities when we're not on the air. I'm still gambling. I gamble all day. Usually not in the morning, honestly. It usually doesn't start for me until around noon. And it doesn't matter if it's Saturday or Tuesday, but if there's something going on between that 12 and 3 o'clock window, I generally like to have my fishing pole in the water. Not going to catch anything if you're not out there trying. And that's what we do. So for less than $1 a day, you can go over to Winnable. You can get my best bets. You can get text alerts. You can also just go over there and sign up for free bets. I've got, I think, 2 or 3 of them listed out there for tonight. One of them starts, I've already started. I think it starts at 6:30. But anyhow, never miss the action when we drop it. Get the best bets as soon as they're out there, whether you're working, you're home, you're taking care of the kids, you're mowing the lawn, whatever. You get that little notification. It shows you that a bet was dropped. You go over there, you click the button. You'll see exactly what it was, and you can decide. Do you want to play it now? Do you want to wait and see if it gets better later? Try to maximize. And I gave one out here today that's already on the move for a plus money spot. So check out Winnable if you haven't done so already. Hey, it's Mikey Money here, letting you know the Sports Money team is live on Winnable. Come check out our best bets.
For a low monthly cost, you get the very best bets delivered instantly to your phone by text the moment they're locked in. No delays, no missed lines, just the smartest plays at the best odds.
We do the work, you get the plays, and they're sent right to your phone right when we drop them.
Don't wait, don't guess, don't miss the line. Join the winning team today and start cashing tickets with Winnable.
Let us roll. My favorite part of the show is talking about the plays you guys are involved with. Best damn chat in the business. I firmly believe it. We've been developing for the last 2+ years, showing you guys exactly how to go about it, give you some different things to think about. I love seeing some of the similar thought process now that we're all kind of sharing and cashing, getting to the window with winning bets. Now, the masses get mad. They want you to struggle. They'll tell you what to play. They won't tell you why to play it, because they have a belief system that then you need them. It shouldn't be about need. It should be about opportunity, excitement, enthusiasm. Nothing gets you out of bed sooner in the morning than, well, a big 8-3 night. Cashed a couple of units over on the Winnable side as well. So it was a great night yesterday, and I'm hoping that we can run it back. Plays in the chat. Let's go. Nicholas Handy's here. Stop Geo's here. Wesker's Midnight says, my day can't finish right unless I'm pimp slapped. Shout out to Jay Peasy. Says, new graphic, same pimp. Damn right, Jay Peasy. Let's go. Robert McCormick says, good evening. Cactus Black's giving us the first play of the day from the chat. Shout out to Cactus Black. He likes the Mammoth money line. The Utah Mammoth just had their way with the Buffalo Sabres less than a week ago, and they got them at home. Mammoth have grown on me. And I like that pick, Cactus Black. You can see that with my parlay that's at the bottom of the screen here. David Wallace says, picks on fire last night. Thanks, man. We just try to be consistent, try to just bat it around. We're going to have days where we're up a unit, days we're down 2 units, and then bang, we got a day that we fire and things get moving in the right direction. Peter Grassi says, sup, Mikey? Good night last night. Let's get after it. AOD's checking in, my brother from another mother. There's Kelly V. Says, remember, Melly Mel told us beginning of the week, Toronto, no bueno, but good on weekends. Kelly V says, where has our girl Mel been? NHL season. We miss her. I know we do. I know. Wesker's Midnight says, slap me with the truth, pimp slapped. Mitch Morber says, what's up, Mike? Lakers money line plus 260. Let's get this money. Dude, if you're going to go with the Lakers money line, you might as well parlay the Golden State Warriors money line with it. Just an idea. Joe W says, cheers. Bo Jackson says, let's get, and matter of fact, that's a good way to use your King of the Court bonus that we had last night. Easy casher, 50 plus. Points, rebounds, and assists, and he got it done. I think somebody hold me accountable to this, but I think we're 3-1. I know we had a loser in there, but I think we're 3-1. And the loser we had was winning, but then lost at the end, if I'm not mistaken, in the King of the Courts. So anyways, Joe W checking in. Bo Jackson says, Spurs money line, Spurs minus 4.5. Huh? Oh, Bo. Spurs money line, Spurs minus 3.5. Gary Davis is checking in. Nasty Nate's here, says Lakers second quarter. I think we're ready to roll. Nasty Nate, by the way, dude, if you're a Jersey guy, and I know you are, basketball jerseys seem to be your thing, but if I recall correctly, dude, those New England jerseys for this rivalry matchup are fire, dude. Those things are sharp as a tack. They kind of have, I don't know. It reminds me a little bit of a muted Memphis. I think I saw Memphis in jerseys like that. Those are some fire jerseys with them Patriots out there. Shout out to none other than Gronk. Doug Gronk. Rob Gronkowski retires as a Patriot. Got himself a 1-day contract. I don't know if you saw the interviews there or not, but Robert Kraft said, how about a 2-day contract? We could use you tomorrow night. And quick to recover and respond, Gronkowski says, what's the signing bonus? Ness Nate says he's got one. All right, cool, dude. Blake M likes Miami, Ohio, plus 5.5. We'll be talking about that game. I'll go a rundown. Not a ton for me in the NBA tonight. I think I decided that I like playing the NBA Cup. But when they have a full schedule, there's other plays that I got a bunch of plays out there for the NBA tonight. I'll talk to you about some thoughts. Just these double-digit spots again that really make it tricky. Last night, you look at it as an example. I told you, it's almost like they don't want us playing in the NBA. You look at what they had out there with teams like, the Raptors. They're laying 10.5 points, 11. They win by 10. The Knicks bust up the Grizzlies. The Knicks at home. The Grizzlies suck. I'll tell you what. Why not take the Celtics tonight? Even though it's the second leg of a back-to-back against them Grizz. I think it's the Grizz, right? The Sixers, I told you about that one out there. The OKC Thunder beat down the Warriors. That was the Steph Curry comeback night. Anytime a star player comes back, what do? You want to fade them spots out there. But then Pacers got busted up by the Jazz. That was an interesting spot. And the Nuggets, they beat up the Kings. I told you the Kings were in a shit spot last night. Weird in the NBA. These double-digit, like tonight, example, Houston. I'm not in the business of laying 17.5 points, but the Wizards just won. Outright too, right? Or was it outright? I think it was, I can't remember, but I remember they were 12.5 point dogs. I gave them out to winnable and they won. Now they're 17.5 point dogs. That's got to be too many points. What, the Rockets are going to go out there and bust them boys up by 20? The NBA is a tricky animal, especially when you don't know if it matters or not. There's a couple games tonight. The Pistons deciding to sit some of them boys. I think Cade Cunningham's going to be sitting out of that game against the Bulls. Then you look at the Heat. The Cavaliers are sitting everybody. They got the B squad rolling down to Miami in a revenge situation out there. So, look, tough as it goes, Warriors on the second leg of a back-to-back, although they got busted up, so there weren't a lot of minutes played last night against them Spurs, who are 5-0 at home. This is a tricky NBA card early in the season. I think around Christmas things will normalize, but we're still going to take some shots. We're going to take some calculated decisions. We're going to use our tools, our technology. We're going to use the expertise of the community to try to make informed betting decisions. That's what we're here to do tonight. So make sure you smash that thumbs up button. If you haven't done so already, you guys need your support, need your help. Hit that like button. And really, shout out to you guys that did smack the post and the retweets out there, trying to make a more concerted effort to get this thing rolling. And it does help when you guys take the time to like and repost out there. So thank you guys that have done that. Again, I'll say it means an absolute ton to see the notifications come through that say Jerry Davis reposted. I don't know who Tina is, but she reposted. My guy Sharky Waters liking and reposting out there. King Al liking and reposting. Flawless Lockdown reposting for me. Craig Hardy, Gabe, thank you guys for being in the repost business out there. The liking and reposting means a ton, and a lot of you guys do it consistently. Trenchwork Sports means a ton that you guys do take the time to do that. It helps. I'm scrolling right down. This is a live shout out to everybody that does like and repost. Let's go. Let's talk about this card. First game you can see on the board here is the Tampa Bay Lightning. Are the Tampa Bay Lightning? Is the Tampa Bay Lightning? Tampa Bay Lightning, anyhow, against the New York Rangers, against the Utah Mammoth, or with the Utah Mammoth. Excuse me. Utah Mammoth are big favorites on the card here tonight. And at first glance, I like them in regulation. Then I thought about the -1s. I thought, hey, that line's toasting. It was -120 this morning for the Utah Mammoth in regulation. And I was like, wow, that's not horrible, but the Sabres are sneaky and they're scoring, which always makes it a sneaky situation. The Sharp Respected Betting Report came through and talked about the under in that game. So I just went Utah. Give me the home team. I think they are more dominant in all aspects and facets of the game. But starting off, the parlay was the Tampa Bay Lightning with Andrei Vasilevskiy taking on Igor Shesterkin in a pretty comparably matched number here. 2.46 goals against for Shesterkin, 2.64 for Vasilevskiy, 90.8% for Shesterkin, 90.4% save for Vasilevskiy. Pretty damn close. Now, the big elephant in the room is the New York Rangers found a way to win on home ice. Finally, with an explosion of scoring. Was not expected in a 6-3 win over the Nashville Predators. They're a dog for a reason, in my estimation. The Lightning are on fire. They've won 7 of their last 8 games. They're at home, and they have rest. And we know what that means. That means they're there to smash, and we're going to cash from it. Now, the question is, you want to lay the juice. The Rangers is a dog. They got more than a day's rest, but not an egregious dog, right? Egregious meaning less than a +140. Totals over 5.5. The Rangers are 4-8. In other words, they're expecting goals. It's somewhat close game, and they do have some rest. They're just not that great a team. They are 3-9 to the under, by the way, in those spots. 3-9 to the under. But when that totals a 6, which it started off at today, they're just 1-5, and they're losing by 1.5 goals. So you could comfortably play the -1 potentially with the Tampa Bay Lightning. I just opted to parlay. Give me the parlay. Wow, and it's moving down now as well, huh? Parlayed Tampa Bay with the Utah Mammoth. On the other side of things, as the Utah Mammoth are concerned, they will go to Karl Vejmelka. He's got a 7-4 record, 2.91 goals against average. Utah on a 3-game slump. Are the Sabres the slump buster? That will be the question. Vejmelka shit the bed his last start, though. 6 goals on 23 shots. What I like about that, though, is they left him in the whole game. Like, dude, if you're going to play like shit, you're going to own it. When you take a pitcher out in the second inning after he blew up in the first, like, dude, sometimes they recover. Vejmelka did not recover, but I'm not going to hold it against him. Look, he's got an 88.1% save percentage on the season out there. The Sabres, they beat him up 2-1 in overtime last matchup. So keep that in mind, because on the other side of things, Colton Ellis will be starting for the Buffalo Sabres. Now, his first start was pretty darn good. October 22nd, so about 20 days ago, was his debut. He hasn't played since, for what it's worth. And the Sabres have goaltending woes. We talked about it. I do like that they're keeping Devin Levi in the minors. Let him develop. Let him learn game speed. You don't want to burn that candle out. He saved 29 of 31 shots. That was against the Detroit Red Wings in his debut for the NHL. So this is game number 2 for this young buck. He saved 93.1% save percentage. Pretty fucking solid. Problem is, the Sabres are coming into this thing getting outscored 9-3 in their last 2 games. So I thought the prudent thing to do was slap both these teams together, put them in a spot where we can just take advantage by just winning the games. Now, we have to win 2 games to cash this parlay, but the price tag is rewarding us at almost a plus 160. In fact, right now at DraftKings, it's plus 163. So I like that. I like that. I like it a lot. And then we'll do this and this and this. And okay. All right. There it is. I had to re-up because I got a 156. I get an extra almost 10 cents on the dollar. Yeah, I'll go back in there, put another half unit on that thing as well. What say you guys about this parlay? I'm curious if anybody's going to, oh, come on. Fuck. DraftKings. Nothing works quickly around this place, does it? Except for us and how fast we're going to move through these games here today. Jerry Davis says, Mikey, I like your Hawks better than you. 12 points is a couple buckets too many. Jeff Matthews. Magic, Lakers, Clippers, Moneyline parlay. Fuck. It's fucking DraftKings. I hate that location check, you guys. You guys know what I'm talking about. If you're not on your phone and you're doing it on your computer. Most of my bets are computer bets. They're not cell phone bets. We talked about that before. Damon Waring's in the house. What up, Damon? Says good luck. Deshaun G. Wizards lost. Pistons come back and won, bro. That's right. You're right. But they covered. Dreadhead Craig in the house. Dreadhead Craig reposted the stream. Appreciate that, Dreadhead Craig. Hey, check us out over on the YouTube side. If you haven't done so yet, migrate on over here, my friend. We're doing this shit 7 days a week. Jerry Davis says, I know a lot of people on the Warriors. Just don't see it with the rest advantage for the Spurs. The difference is Steph Curry wants to play this game. Any sharps on Rangers at Mikey? I'm hearing whispers. Jerry Davis says, Manhattan points and money line. I like UC Davis, San Diego as well. Smoke and Mirrors in the house. What up, Smoke? Jerry Davis says, give me 4 points, Miami, Ohio. Fit to play at home against the former team. His former team. Oh. Nasty Nate says, Mike, it happens to me on the phone 10 times a day. Does it really? I mean, I got to log back in, but I got to log back in on my computer too. And then when I go to log back in on the computer, that's when shit goes awry. Okay, guys, let's get into the rest of the card there. So I kicked it off with the parlay for you guys here. I'm going to look at my Philadelphia Flyers. I'm going to look at them playing the Edmonton Oilers. And this is the I don't give a shit spot for me. Stuart Skinner sucks for the Oilers right now. On the Flyer side of things, they're going to Dan Vladder, the former Calgary Flame product out there. Has a 6-3 record because he's the number 2. Keep this in mind. He's the number 2. He's thrust into the number 1 role specifically because Ersson got himself hurt early in the season. And he's been pretty much a punching bag. He started great, or he didn't start great, but he's been finishing great, I should say. He had 1-1 start, 79.5% save percentage. That's through his first 2 games of the season, 1-1. He's gone 5-2 since then. He took his 79.5% save percentage. He shot it up to 91.7. 3-1 win over Nashville most recently. We were on the Flyers in that spot. What can he do against this Edmonton Oilers team? The thing is, Oilers have lost 3 of their last 4 games. So how do you get to the window with this game here? On the other side, Skinner. He's been staking. 2.91 is just about bag of shit status with an 88.2% save percentage. Oilers, big come from behind victory against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now, we were on the Jackets in that game. That sucked. They were up 3-0, and then Edmonton's something clicked. Boom, they're firing. And so I think you get Edmonton at a discount here because they are going on the road. The thing for me with this game, though, yeah, the Flyers have gotten, they're 2-0-1 in their last 3, so there's no quit in their game. But I had to look at the sharp, respected betting report in this game as well, and I thought, man, we got ourselves an opportunity for an under in this one. Edmonton, on the road, after at least a day's rest, the unders have cashed 9 of their last 10. Because they predominantly play defensive hockey. It's 44-23 overall when they go on the road. And why wouldn't you want to play defensive hockey when you got your number 1 goalie trying to get his confidence back, trying to get his groove back? And the Oilers, after a win, are 71-57 to the under as well. I paid up a little bit for the 6. It was 6s. It dropped to 5.5. So we're in alignment with the line movement as well. And I think this is a great opportunity for us to get paid with the lower scoring game here. Edmonton, Philly. Couple things going on. Philly's bringing players back into the lineup. And Rick Tocchet, their head coach, just commented and said, Mishkov came into camp. He was out of shape. Boy, he must have been having too many cocktails in the offseason. They say he's starting to get his legs underneath him. And they're trying to teach him it's a team game. So, collectively, I think there's a lot of moving parts on that offense as they're trying to finagle it and get it together for Philadelphia. But I think we can expect a lower scoring game here. Deshaun G likes a Jamie Drysdale anytime goal at plus 800. Why not, dude? Take a big swing, he's a defenseman he's like an offensive defenseman, right? So he shoots from the line, which does create garbage opportunity for the guys in front to sweep it back in there behind him. Kelly V says Philly 6-1 at home versus Edmonton. Friend from Joe Madden. Mishkov point. She likes his anytime goal. I just heard the Rick Tocchet interview and, Mishkov just hurt somebody, by the way. Who was it? The Toronto guy. Smacked him. Put him out. They had to stretcher his ass out of there. Greg Gibson says Magic, Chicago, Dallas, Clippers, and Atlanta 5-team parlay, all money lines. Wonder what's that pay, Greg? Magic, Chicago, Dallas, Clippers. I like that. I like that parlay. I'm curious what that pays. Greg Kelly says, I was thinking both teams to score in the first period Edmonton game. Something that's been cashing like crazy. If you guys haven't been paying attention in the NHL, those first periods go under. The second periods have been going over at an alarming rate. So keep that in mind. We're going to move on to some college foosball, some action, some Toledo and some Miami, Ohio. In this game here, you'll see 5-4, the record for them boys on the season. Then that second number designates their conference play. 3-2 for Toledo in the MAC. 4-1 for Miami, Ohio in the MAC. We'll give you some splits. We'll talk about some key matchup factors, I think, and some trends that hopefully help us get to the window. This is a tricky action slate. I'll say that. Toledo opened up as 2.5-point favorites. They're 5.5-point favorites. Oh, there's so many games going on. My system's taking forever to pull up the splits. And the total has not moved. Interesting. 44.5, 72% of the bets, 75% of the cash are on the over. And yet it's not moving. Are we seeing the Toledo of yesteryear where they just went up and down the field and scored at will? Lots of people like this home team with Miami, Ohio, but not me. Here's the reason why. What did we just see yesterday? We saw Ohio get thumped. Ohio, Miami, Ohio. That's like that East Kentucky, West Kentucky game we talked about the other day. Battle for them boys. They grew up together. They played together. They went to training camps together, summer camps together. That's a battle. It wore them down. And Ohio, just a 1.5-point. Well, they opened as a favorite, became a dog, but they couldn't follow it up against Western Michigan, a Western Michigan team that 6-4, another mediocre season for them boys. Yeah, now 7-3 against the spread, but the wear and tear is what's got me concerned about this Miami, Ohio team. I was looking at the spot. I was looking at the game. I was thinking, well, do I think this is a lower scoring game? I don't know. Northern Illinois team total, we cashed that under last week against Toledo. All right. That was one of the easiest plays on the board. Toledo's defense, strong. In fact, you can only play who's in front of you. I get it. But they're 9th in college football. 9 out of 165 teams or something like that? They're only allowing 14.6 points a game. And they're only giving up 232 yards a game. That's good enough to be second in college football. So now you got a team that's dominant at defense against a team that's potentially emotionally exhausted on the other side of the field. And then if you look at it, you say, okay, let's overlay 14.8 points per game allowed in football. Against the MAC, it goes down to 11.6. They've only given up 14 points Once in 5 conference games. Look, I think the strong look is to the Miami, Ohio team total under. Miami, Ohio's averaging 27 points a game in league play. So you got to recognize that. You got to respect that too. But I just don't want to underestimate the physical exhaustion, the mental exhaustion that goes in. They were kept to 20 points last week, but they only had 6 points until that fourth quarter. So there was not only an emotional expenditure to go out there and get that W, but it all came in bunches, and they didn't look too good before that. So I'll lay 4.5 with Toledo. I don't want to get too much more on top of that, though, because there are some big Toledo trends, or I'm sorry, there are some big trends against Toledo. And so that does concern me. That does give me pause to some degree. It's not going to prevent me from getting in there and saying, I think that just after what I saw, because of what I saw yesterday with Ohio, and I know everything operates in a silo if they were in a vacuum, but they're not. We had fucking game tape that showed that battle. Yes, that battle last week wore these teams out. And yes, they're back at home, but it's good enough for me to say I'll lay the 4.5 out there. That's my play. I'm curious I know a bunch of you guys are on the other side. You're taking the points. Never a bad idea to take points at home, but the thing concerns 136. Thanks, Jerry. The thing that concerns me though is it's not 2. It's not 1.5. They didn't open as a dog or as a favorite. Toledo should put the boot to ass on these boys here tonight. We'll see what happens as it rolls out. It'll be a fun game to watch. Literally, I think this will probably be, well, I'll tell you what's not going to be a fun game to watch, but we're going to be able to make some money on it, is this shit show. Northern Illinois at 2-7 in the season, 1-4 in the conference. UMass at 0-9 is 0-5 in conference. So UMass joined the MAC this year. And the rumor on the street is UMass wants to go down to FCS. So this MAC is like this. Remember when I talked to you guys about like how MAC schools line up when it comes to like, they're the second string. They're the guys that couldn't make it. And even they're even worse than second string. They're like third string guys. That's why used to see MACtion games would go over so much, because the defense was third and fourth string against the Big Ten school. If you're in Michigan, you're going to Michigan. If you're stuck with somewhere else and you want to get a partial scholarship, you're going to Miami, Ohio, because you weren't good enough to be the backup at Michigan, right? It's just the hierarchy of the way things, that's the pedigree, that's the pecking order in the Great Lakes region. And, it's cold. And now, in all fairness, I get it. Massachusetts isn't in the Great Lakes region. I got it. But they're in the MAC, and they're on their way to the FCS. Fucking thing is, this line is coming down. And nobody has earned the right to fade Northern Illinois more than me. I've said this before. We took their team total under last week. And look, UMass was 13.5-point dogs. At home, they're now 9.5s. They spent all afternoon at 10. They've parked themselves at 9.5. You have 65% of the bets and 67% of the cash on UMass. Take out the end and you ass, boys. Yikes. 44.5 has dropped to 43.5 with 70% of the bets and 50% of the cash on the over. So it's a 50-50 split with bigger bettors. And if you're new here, I know quite a few of you may be. When we look at the cash flow, it's not about just fading the public, but we want to look at how the books are reacting, right? So we look at the percentage of bets as the whole thing. It's all the tickets being written. It's parlays, teasers, props, the suit, the $1 tickets, the parlay ticket that's as long as your arm, all of that stuff goes into the percentage of bets, generally public. Then the percentage of money tends to be bigger bettors. Put those $1 parlay long shots across to the side, and let's see who's coming in with a backpack full of 10K saying, give me 10 dimes on this spot. In this case, the bigger bettors are betting UMass. And that was enough. This is the key to see how that line moved. We want the first line. We don't want the line as it opened up on Sunday. We want the very first line to hit the street. What was that number? And the look-ahead line was 13.5. So after course correction, what this tells me is the sharper bettors aren't going to give up. They're not going to lay 10 points with Northern Illinois on the road. And I can't blame them, because Northern Illinois, granted, they play cupcakes, they dice them. There's no question about it. You look at what they just did recent form. Not to get, obviously we talked about that Toledo spot, right? They scored 3 points. We had under, what was it? 15.5 or 16.5? I can't remember. Doesn't matter. They fucking scored 3 points. They beat Ball Sack 21-7. Ball State's second worst to UMass, I guess, when it comes down to it. They lost to Ohio. They scored 10 points against Eastern Michigan, and they got busted up by Miami, Ohio. They scored 14 points. So you get a scoring problem with these boys. Here's the problem. There is a big trend, and it comes down to buying low on Northern Illinois. And I don't know if you can look at 10 points and say you're buying low, but they are 13-0 against the spread, a spread number, not a money line number. If they didn't cover by more than 13 points, they got busted up by 24 points against the spread that last game. So that triggers a live trend for Northern Illinois. Problem is, in that same trend, they're 3-10 to the unders. So the average line they're seeing is 54.5. And so when you look at this number and you see what they're laying out there from a spread perspective, they're 11 points below the average line that Northern Illinois is seeing after not getting. Basically, my thought process with this game is they're going to play to their level of competition. We saw them score 3 points last week. They're on the road after that 3-pointer. I don't think UMass wins this game outright, but I just can't see a situation where Northern Illinois goes out there and runs them for 45 points. I don't think they need to. I think they do just enough to get the win. And they match the level of competition. Now, everyone's going to tell you fade, but you know, they've got a big matchup next week against Western Michigan, and it's relatively short rest. They're back at home, but it's going to be the Tuesday action game, not the Wednesday action game. So my thought process here, both teams suck. They both find a way to struggle it out in the first half of this game. And we're getting the hook over the 3 touchdowns. So I like the under 21.5 in the first half of this game. Maybe it's 17-0 or 17-3 Northern Illinois. And then keep in mind that second half, you got the 6-day turnaround to face a home team against Western Michigan, who's been out there thumping. Just beat down an Ohio team. Do you want to put it all on tape? Do you put it all out there? Or do you just try to get the win and figure it out? I just couldn't get there with the points. So I'll take the under in the first half of this game. And I wouldn't be mad at anybody that wanted to lay the shot there with UMass. They are ass, but they're at home. Nasty Nate says UMass is going to smash. Jerry Jones says Toledo's 2-13 on the road. Jerry Davis says, how about the trend that Toledo turns into a bag of shit on the road for years? Yeah, they do. It was 2 seasons ago, though, that they were scoring like 75 points a game. I know it wasn't that high. I think it was literally like 67 or something like that. So Craig Gibson says Houston takes Washington behind the woodshed. 128-110. That's going to barely cover, though. That's 18 points on a 17.5. Blake M says, oh boy, I'm on Miami, Ohio plus 4.5. We'll see. We will. Greg Gibson says Memphis going to beat Boston. Blake M says Miami, Ohio spread is a pick 'em. I'll stay on plus 5.5. Gualo says, if you bet in UAS, you got a gambling problem. Greg Gibson says, all money line, Magic, Memphis, Charlotte, and the Lakers. Magic, Memphis, Charlotte, and the Lakers. I'm not mad at that. I get down with that. I'll root you on with that one. Let's keep her going, you guys. We got to get moving. We got our boy ready to start here at 7 o'clock, and I don't want to be in the way. We got an 8 p.m. start. Notice what I did. I put the timetable on these starting spots there. I want to say it's to help you, but it's to help me. There's so many of these fucking games that takes forever to find them. And then when you find them, I got to go back and find them again so I can go back and give you guys the line splits on these things when it comes down to it. So I hope you enjoy knowing what time they're at, but know it was for me. I'll be honest with you guys and I'll be accountable for it. Come on. The problem is there's so many games that the system takes forever. So 8 p.m. Southern Indiana at 0-2 will take on South Dakota. Popping off here at 1-2 to kick their season off. 8 p.m. Southern Indiana opened up as a dog at plus 4.5, and they've moved. They've moved to 7.5 points. 75% of the bets, 69% of the cash are on South Dakota. It's moved 3 points. So the reaction is movement. No movement on the total. 72% of the bets and 72% of the cash are on the under, and it has not moved. They like a junder. I broke this game down into two halves, the tale of two halves. Surprisingly enough, I think the semi-home court advantage gives us the opportunity for South Dakota to come out fast. Southern Indiana's lost 12 of its last 13 games on the road. They stink. South Dakota's won 12 of its last 13 at home. They're good. But Southern Indiana's lost the first half in all 8 of its last road games against non-conference opponents. The reason I say that I want to break this into two halves is because I do think South Dakota goes out there and busts these boys up. I do like the under in this game as well. Southern Indiana's lost 26 games where the total's gone under 164 points. So I see why the line was getting, or why the money's coming in on the under, because can Southern Indiana match up? And they lost 12 of their last 13 on the road, as I mentioned. So why am I looking at the first half in this game versus the over? Because I think, or the overall, is because if you look at player for player and point for point, granted, they're not out there world beaten, but there's like 5 guys that are putting up 8 or better points on the Southern Indiana side of things. Well, it's down to 3. And that's actually like 2.5 on the South Dakota side of things. So I think as you know, South Dakota goes up in this game, second half of the game, there's going to be a little bit of fatigue factor potentially that settles in for South Dakota. All these South teams playing each other makes it really difficult for me. And look, South Dakota stepped out in class. They just got thumped at Creighton, 92-76. So now they come back home, step down in class, pissed off that they just got busted up. You know they're going to want to come out strong, impress the girlfriends back at home, the cheerleaders and all the rest. Where Southern Indiana, they lost to the Keydets, man. You lose to the Keydets, and you didn't play any defense when you were doing it. They let the Keydets score 78 points. Not going to be involved in some USI business, but I might look to live bet if they're down like 10 points at halftime. That might be a good live bet spot. Onward, upward, next game on the deck. Got to move quickly here. Manhattan versus Utah Tech. Thing about this game is it's a neutral site game. It's a 9:30. It's one of them tournament games, right? The Manhattan Jaspers. I like the Jaspers. If you don't know what a Manhattan Jasper is, sorry for you. That means that you never had to leave New York City on the bus to go out to the Hamptons for the weekend. The Jasper Express. Sydney Express, I think is what it's nicknamed. 3.5s moved down to 2.5s on the Utah Tech side of things. 63% of the bets, 65% of the cash are on Manhattan, and the line's moving accordingly. 155.5s moved to 158.5. You have reverse. This is reverse line movement. 86% of the bets and 86% of the cash coming in here. Utah Tech's played 4 games already this season. I thought that was pretty remarkable. But Manhattan's not going into this tournament to be bitches. They're playing a tough schedule. I think they want to go back and win their conference out there. USC, they got busted up 114-83. That's how they kicked off their season in a officially lined game. And Utah Tech's been getting busted up by everybody. They got busted up by that South Dakota team that we just talked about a minute ago. How about that? So, actually, they won against that team. I'm sorry, 81-79. But they lost to Arizona. They lost to Arizona State. This game should have points written on it, despite the unders. And I see that's why the line's not moving. That's kind of how I was looking at this game. Now, the Sharp Perspective betting report came through. Guess what? They took Manhattan. They like the points. They think this is a one last basket type of thing. Manhattan has lost 4 straight at neutral venues. But I respect a team that's stepping up in class, or stepping up and going, look, across country. Utah Tech doesn't play great on the road or in neutral site locations either. So I think that's kind of a wash. They're not scoring a lot of points because Manhattan's playing defense, despite that USC beatdown. Last 14 neutral venue day games have gone 150 or less day games because of the time zone. Now, it's not pretty. It's kind of a close your nose and cross your fingers, I guess. But it's a Sharp Respected betting report that I'm going to tail in this game here. I think they come out there and get the win. I'm not going to go, wrong team favored. I get it. The wrong team's technically favored. You're right. But It's not like we're getting a ton of points. You can take some plus money if you want to cut it down, but the 2.5 with the hook, it's now moved to 2s and some 1.5s out there. This is one of those we talked yesterday about being a good steward of the book. You want to have a lot of books to work with so that you can find that 2.5, because if it's going to come down to the last basket, maybe it's a free throw at the end, like we saw yesterday with that Long Island game against Air Force, 4 points at the end because of some bullshit. Yeah, we want to have the hook. Don't be those guys that are trying to beat the bad line and then cash out because you schooled the book. The book will school you. That's the way that shit works. All right, onward, upward. We got to get moving to this next game on the docket. It is going to be Oregon State, and I am going to take Oregon State. I told you Corvallis is a tough place to get to. It's a tough place to play. I believe that not only for college football, but I believe it holds true for college basketball as well. This line opened up at -2.5. It's moved to full point. 50% of the bets, 50-50 on the public. But 63% of the cash is coming in on Oregon State. That's what moved the line. Respected action coming in on Oregon State. That's a sharp respected betting report, but they're taking bigger bets on Oregon State. And I believe it's because of that home court advantage that Oregon State holds. At home, these Beavers are 24-10 against the spread. That's not just outright. I mean, they're 19 of 20 at home in non-conference, but they're 24-10. They're covering. North Texas averaging 72 points a game. Oregon's averaging 71.5. Yet here we go with the 3-point favorite. I think that's the home court. North Texas is a tricky game. I think this is probably a lower scoring game. It's come down to 134.5. So that's kind of telling you everything you need to know about this thing. Oregon's shooting effectiveness, 54.2%, is number 106. I think they're in a good spot. I think they can figure out a way to get this job done. Despite that kind of middle ranking situation, I just think this home court reigns too true. Non-conference, just domination. And North Texas, they're good on the road, but it's a Wednesday trend. They're 7-0 on Wednesdays, North Texas here. I'm going to take a tight game. I'm going to take the home team. I'm going to take the favorite. I'm going to move on to this game in college basketball as we look at this one. Actually, I should probably take this down really quick. Southern Illinois. The Salukis taking on Nevada. And I'm going to take the points in my back pocket. This is a 10 p.m. game for college hoops. Excuse me. Some interesting 10 p.m. games, but I'll be up. I'll be editing. I'll be putting some things together out there. This line moved from 9 to 11.5 with huge reverse line movement. 61% of the bets and 72% of the cash on Nevada. The Wolfpack. What's wrong with the Wolfpack? Well, I'll tell you. Not much. They're 2-0, but so is Southern Illinois. This total's gone up 2 points. 68% of the bets and 69% of the cash are on the under, and yet it's moving over. Probably because they expect a war. You know, Nevada beat up Pacific, but they barely snuck out of that one. 13.5-point favorites. They won by 1 point. And then you got this UMKC team that played well last night. Battle game last night. They got thumped by Southern Illinois. In fact, 101-78. There's one of them sneaky little 100-pointers. Got to respect it. Now, Nevada unders, if their opponent came off a win as a favorite. That was Southern Illinois. They were 12.5-point favorites. The unders are 21-11 at Nevada. And Nevada's won 22 of its last 23 non-con games at home. It's a tough place to play. But they're scoring a shit ton of points. 92 points per game. That includes look, they've been on the road. They've been playing some games out there. They shoot well early. They come out strong. And that Kings can hang in there. House, Algaby, both averaging 12.5 points and 18 points a game. They got some players that can shoot. Their offensive efficiency is the thing that I think keeps them in this game. They do have a rebounding edge. They're out rebounding their opponents as well. So they're limiting second chance opportunities. So for a team that can go score, when they play a tougher defense, this will be if they can be battle tested or not. This could be the game where the wrong team's favored. And I know that's a lot of points, but Nevada counts heavily on its bench production when it comes into that second half. So if SIU's up early, don't be surprised to see SIU up early. Think about it. You blow a team out. Your starters are rested as you come into this thing, and that's good enough to fire. So fire we will with that spot, you guys. We will roll on. 2 games left in my analysis here, my best betting card here for the pre-gaming show off of an 8-3 day. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button if you haven't done so already. Show some support. Join us over here at the Sports Money channel. And I'll get into the NBA. I've got to update the silver and gold cards here. Cleveland and Miami. Look, I'm not going wild in the NBA tonight. I got some plays over there on winnable as well. If you do want more more W. If you want more NBA, you can certainly get. I think I got a 4-pack of games over there. Kind of talked about a couple of them here. The Cavaliers and the Heat. The Cavs are sitting everybody. The Heat at home have been an over team, and this line started at 246.5. It's moved down to 239.5. With 80% of the bets and 78% of the cash on the over. It's come down. And it's got to be injury analysis, injury report driven. And I'm going to go with it. I think this is one of those spots. You know, should Miami win this game? Probably. Would the Cavaliers win and surprise me? No. They just played each other. It was 140-138. Thing is, it was 248.5 on that line. We talked about it. What are they going to score 300 points? They almost did. We had Spider cash for us in that game. But again, they're waving the white flag. The Cavaliers are to this squad out there. The only guy out for the Heat is Hero. And again, that Cavs lineup looks ugly. So I'm going to go to the under. I think this movement is accurate. I think it's correct. Conference roads, when you're playing a rival after an over in a tight game, that's a tight game. It was a 2-point win. It was an over. They scored almost 300 points. It's a conference road rival in Cleveland. The unders are 83-39. That's that 2-1 edge that we're looking for, the 66% plus. And then rematch. Conference dog won by 5 or less. The unders cashed 7 of its last 10 times, 211 and 154. So we got some metrics that show us the under looks good in this spot. Last game I got for you guys in the NBA analysis here for pre-game. And if you guys haven't done so and you're over there on Twitter, thank you for checking us out. Instagram as well. Come over to the YouTube side of things. Join us at this YouTube community that we're building here. The Atlanta Hawks, the Sacramento Kings. I can't get there with the Kings. I told you the other night they were in just a terrible spot. They're like 0-8 or 0-9. They've gone from 4 to 4.5 now. 53% of the bets and 54% of the cash are on the Atlanta Hawks. This team plays great on the road. 233.5 moved down to 231.5. 79% of the bets, 63% of the cash. We're starting to see some normalcy back to the unders. We saw some overs banging away out there. Kings are on their third game in 4 nights. Back-to-back situation. Bad rest spot for this Kings team out there. And Atlanta likes to fire. The Kings 0-13 if they're at home off a game that went under by at least 10 points. Are you kidding me? It went under by 15 points the last time out there. I like the under in this game, but the more appropriate side I think here is taking this Atlanta team on the road. Yes. But look, 105-102 at the Clippers. Now the Clippers have been in disarray, but they beat the Lakers before that. They struggled to Toronto. They beat Orlando. They're 3-1 outright in their last 4. And they're 3-1 against the spread. So when they win, they cover. Give me the Atlanta Hawks to bring us home here, 7 p.m. on the dot. Appreciate you guys watching the show. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Like and repost. Appreciate everybody that does that for us. Thank you guys all for being here tonight. Good luck with your bets, and catch my guy, Sean Fox, here. Going to pop off in just a couple of minutes for you guys here at Sports Money. Going to give you a full night of live betting action. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll do it again at 6 p.m. for pre-gaming.